Hey, it's Mike Brandenstein with the Worship Bass Workshop, recording again for Jellynote. And if you haven't noticed, I'm in a new place, right? And still in transition, but finally got to the new place. Still working on some background, but for right now, we're going to go with the industrial look, all right? The unfinished industrial look is what I call it. So, all right, today we're going to be looking at Lynyrd Skynyrd. We're going to be looking at the song Sweet Home Alabama. And although it's basically a pretty simple song, there are some more difficult bass riffs and one that we're going to turn into an exercise to help improve and to develop your finger dexterity. We're going to look at some hammer-ons, pull-offs, and even a ghost note. But we're going to turn it into an exercise that you can kind of work on to kind of help build up your fingering coordination. All right? So go get your bass, come on back, and let's learn this. Okay, let's talk about the notes of this song that we're going to be using, the primary notes, okay? We're going to be using, starting with the third string, and remember, we're counting our strings from the bottom up, so 1, 2, 3. Fifth fret of the third string, that's a D. And then we go to the third fret of the third string, which is a C. And then we go to the third fret of the E string, or the fourth string, which is a G. All right, now, if you are very new to bass, you can play just those three notes and get through the song. As long as you stay in the pocket, as long as you stay with the group, you can play those three notes in this way. Okay? Or you can just let it ring, okay? All right, so there's something in this song for everyone. The beginner, if you're brand new to this, you could play it that basically, okay? If you are intermediate or wanting to start challenging yourself with some new things, you're ready to do that, then let's talk about some of these licks, okay? And primarily, the one, in 8 and 10, you have, it's in between, in measures 8 and 10, you have, I didn't tell you what tab I'm using. Okay, so the tab I'm using was uploaded by Arzelina Bryant. So Arzelina, good tab, thanks. And we're going to be looking at Arzelina's tab. This is measure 8 and 10, and it is the kind of turnaround in between the verses. So you got this. Okay, and what that is 5th fret of the third string, and then you play the 5th fret of the 4th string, and you stop. And then you go up to the 10th fret of the 3rd and the 2nd string. Let me do that again for you. All right. So you're kind of shifting around quite a bit. And here we go again. Starting on the 5th fret, 3rd string. And then 5th fret, 4th string. 7th fret, 4th string. Rest. Then you're up to the 10th fret of the 3rd string and 2nd string. So you hit the 3rd string once, 2nd string twice, back to the 3rd string, and then down to the 3rd fret, 4th string. A lot of moving around here, right? Now in real time. Okay, one more time. Okay. Got that? All right. Now, the lick we're going to be looking at here is all the way up in measure 29. And you'll know this lick. The bass and the guitar do the same thing here. And what's happening is this is right at the end of the verse, going into the chorus. You have this. I'm sorry. Okay. That's it there. That's it in real time. And let me tell you a little bit about it. Before we go on, let me hit on a few symbols that you might not recognize on these tabs. If you're new to tabs, or if you just haven't seen these symbols before, what you'll find, sometimes you'll see an X. And you'll see that in some of the tabs. And let me see if I can just give you a measure here. And by the way, if you haven't downloaded the Jellynote app yet, I don't know what you're waiting for, guys. Come on, it's a great app. You get a 7-day trial for like a 7-day free trial for the premium, and you have like access to all these things, the tabs, the videos, this video here, plus probably hundreds more videos on this tab right here, on this app. And you get it mostly for free, unless you want to go premium. Go premium, that's the way to go, man. Okay, so we got, let me see what we got next. Measure 27. So measure 27, we have an X, and you have, what that X is simply a ghost note. A ghost note is when you don't play a note, it's just a percussive little pluck. So you're plucking, but you're deadening your note. You're kind of coming up on your left hand there. So it would sound like this. Okay, so in real time. Okay, let's take a look at this lick here at measure 29, and it is when you're going, it's the transition from the verse into the chorus, and the notes are, what we have is we have the 5th fret of the E string, or the 4th string, and this is another symbol that you may not be familiar with. You may see an H with a little tie in between the 5th and 7th fret in that measure 29, and that is simply a hammer-on. Okay? And what we have is 5th and 7th fret of the 4th string, 5th fret of the D string, 5th fret of the, 5th of the A string, which is the 3rd string, 5th fret of the D string, or the 2nd string. Okay, so let's play those. Okay, and then we have the 7th fret of the 3rd string, pulled off to a 5th fret of the 3rd string. So it's going to sound like this. Okay, now let's do those together. All right. And then we do another hammer on. Okay, so now the tabs don't say to pull off here, by the way, from the 7th fret to the 5th fret of the 3rd string, but I think you could do that. That's the way I would do it. Okay, it kind of, once you get that pull off smooth, it really smooths out that run. So here we go again. We're doing 5th fret to 7th fret hammer on the 4th string. Then we go to the 5th fret of the 3rd string, 5th fret of the 2nd string, pull off. We're on the 3rd string now, pull off from the 7th to the 5th fret, and then a hammer on from the 5th to the 7th fret on the 4th string. So it's a lot of jumping around. Then we go to the root, or the 5th fret of the A string, 5th fret of the A string. All right, so here we go. Let's play it in real time. All right, again. Okay, let me talk a little bit about the fingering on this lick, by the way. We're going to, when you're hitting, you're using your index finger here on your 5th fret, pretty much keeping in this position for this lick. Okay? So the thing is, what you might not see so clearly on this video is that I'm barring, in other words, I'm pressing my finger on 2 strings here, the 2nd and the 3rd string. So I don't really have to move my hand much when I'm playing this. See, once I go from the 5th fret of the 3rd string to the 5th fret of the 2nd string, I am just simply keeping the same finger on both strings. See, they're both depressed at that time onto the 5th fret. So once more. Okay, so as I was saying before, you don't have to pluck both of these strings, the 7th and the 5th fret, when you're coming back down on the 3rd string. That's the way the tabs have it. I would recommend that you do a pull off, which is just simply plucking at one time and coming off the fret. When you come off the fret, you're kind of pulling a little bit with your ring finger. Some of these movements, some of these techniques may be new to you, so take your time with this. This is where we can get this lick and turn it into an exercise. And you don't have to do the entire lick. You could just take parts of the lick that you're not familiar with. Okay, so let's take, for instance, your hammer on the first part here. You you could make that a finger exercise all up and down your bass. And get your right hand, your right plucking finger, and use the same fingering throughout your exercise. And the way we're going to do this is if we hit, okay? So if you're going to jump on if you're going to move your index finger, make sure you do it every time. Okay? So you're plucking with, if you're leading off with the index finger, lead off with the index finger every time. Okay, so if you're going index, hammer on, then down to the 5th fret of the 3rd string, and middle pluck, okay? So as we continue to learn this lick, we want to go and start building upon what we already did. Now we took it apart, we took the first three notes of the lick and worked it into an exercise. Right, just those 3 notes. 1, 2, 3. Working on our hammer-on and our fingering, okay? One other important thing, if I didn't mention this earlier, make sure you're remembering to keep your right fingers doing the same consistent order, okay? So if I'm leading off with my index and I'm hammering on, then my middle finger is hitting that 3rd note. And that's the way I'm going to do it every time I rehearse it, okay? Next, we're going to add, just to jump ahead, we're going to add the next 3 notes. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? We're going to add these next 3 notes. So this way we are now practicing our pull-off, and again, keeping our fingering on the right hand consistent. I'm going index, hammer on, middle, okay, on that 5th fret, 3rd string, and then 5th fret, 2nd string, index, then I'm hitting 7th fret, 3rd string, and I'm pulling off with my ring finger, all right, and then I'm again with the index finger on the 4th string, 5th fret, hammer on from the 5th to the 7th fret, and then, okay, so the last 2 notes are the D on the 5th fret, 3rd string. Let's do that a little faster this time. Okay, so I think I got my fingering mixed up there. So if I'm doing this at home, what I'm doing is I'm paying attention. If I'm like sitting down doing this, okay, now I see what's happening. So when I come up, I'm hitting index, middle, talking about the right hand now, index, index, pull off, index, hammer on, middle, index. Okay, again. Okay, so that's how we're going to do that. If you want to turn that into an exercise the same way you did earlier, then you're going to work that lick through that cycle of force that I went over with you, okay? So, okay? All right, and you can move it to different places. You don't have to do the cycle of force, but it helps if you could move it different places. You could just work your way up the neck if you'd like. Just to do it different places, to get the feel of different strings. It matters when you're playing it down here or up here, just to get that feel so that you can play that lick anywhere you want, because it may be a lick that you may want to use in another song or as a bass fill or as part of a solo one day. So it's good to learn these licks because number one, it works on your finger dexterity. It helps you perfect what you're trying to learn. And third, it gives you a little something for your toolbox that you can pull out any other time. Okay, so you're developing your technique with your hammer-ons, with your pull-offs. You are building consistency in your fingering, and you're learning a great song here. So by all means, take time to learn this lick, and then the rest of the tab from that point will be easy for you. Okay, well, I hope you found that helpful, and I hope that you're able to work on this lick and perfect it. I hope this gives you a little help in starting to perfect some of the frustrating things that might be going on with your fingers, because it happens to all of us when we're trying to learn something new and we go through this period of frustration. So I hope these techniques or this little method of breaking it down and practicing a little bit at a time and to slow it down will help you out. So until next time, this is Mike Brandenstein from the Worship Bass Workshop recording for Jellynote. Looking forward to the next video, and I'll see you then.